This is probably the excavator I should have bought back when I bought my second 35G. Not that a Deere is bad. I love Deere / Hitachi machines. But I really like the size of this. It is a VIO Yanmar 50-6, the newest version. It's their old 45. They just changed it and called it a 50. We had a 35G Deere, and then we went to a 50G. It was too big. It was like a 12,600 pound machine or so. About the same dig depth as this, actually. About the same reach out. Just heavier machine, and it just seemed like it was bigger. The boom was bigger. Everything was just kind of dimensionally bigger. It's the size of a Yanmar 55, really. Anyways, but it's a couple things are nice about it. The blade, we went ahead and got the angle blade, which I always thought was kind of cheesy, but my last 35 I went ahead and opted for it. I do kind of like it. It's handy in some times, but as you notice, this has a bolt-on cutting edge. It's reversible, so you know, those of you that run minis, you know that you don't really wear a whole lot of your edge on your blade. But I can tell you one thing: if you have to flip this thing and then you wear it out, you've had the machine long enough that you could just unbolt it and bolt a new one on. You don't have to cut it off. You don't have to weld a new one on top of it. All that neat jazz. Yanmar stuff, at least around here, has tag equipment on it. Tag thumb, tag buckets. I do kind of like the buckets. I mean, you know, it's got a nice capture pin. Slide it in, bolt it in on the other side. It's got a factory pin grabber on it. The machine does. I think you can get it with or without, or at least they have specs, but everyone I've ever seen has, you know, the hydraulic pin grabber on it factory. I kind of like this on the bucket. You know, it's got lifting lugs on each side that are part of the bracing, which goes to the back side of the bucket. It does make it stronger, kind of makes it like a larger machine. They also come with the diverter valve to where you can turn it off. Typically it has a T up here. I'm gonna do that. It just didn't have it from the factory. I didn't worry about them plumbing it up. The demo had it, and I didn't even think to say anything, and I'm not that worried about it. I'll buy a T and an elbow, and we'll have a fitting right here above the deal, and you can still get in there at the wrench and turn it on and off, so you can still use your remote hydraulics. I don't plan on putting a thumb on it, but every once in a while we do a brush hog. I've got a brush hog that we modified to fit an excavator, and now I just need to modify it to fit the pin grabber. Oh, what else? All the grease zerks, everything's super easy to get to. I kind of like the fact that we have, I call it a tab pin, to where it's bolted in with a tab instead of having a bolt go through, you know, your other side to where it weakens it, kind of like this. To me, that makes me feel like that pin's a little weaker. You already have a grease zerk that goes through it normally, and then you go putting a pit or a bolt parallel through it. But everything in the booms and whatnot, you know, it's got a captured washer on one side. See, like we've got a tab pin or whatever, I don't know what the technical name is, everywhere, even on the blade. Seems like everywhere has that same type of pin. Very robust blade. I mean, that's like an inch thick or thicker. I could grab a tape measure, but it's pretty damn thick. And the pins are the same pins as a 45, 50, and 55. All have the same pins. So this 5-ton machine has the same pins in it as a 6-ton machine, because the 55 is a 6-ton. So that tells me that they're not worried about, you know, throwing a little bit of money into it to keep the bigger coupler on it instead of making a smaller coupler to save some bucks. That's kind of nice. These are nice. Shielding, it kind of slips inside, so it slips with the cylinder. But all the cylinders, anything, you know, anything that's in the dirt has that covering on it, so you don't damage your rod. If you're, you know, say you're grabbing a rock or something that comes up and plucks it, I'd rather bend that and be able to go back and bend it back or whatnot, rather than putting a ding in my in my rod and then having to have a new cylinder rod made, because that rod on that cylinder, oh, if I had to guess, we're probably, you know, $500, $600, $750 range to get it made. We have a light up there. I really like that. That's a very protected light. I think Kubota does this, but I go ahead and try to hit that light. You know, most other companies, it's out here on the boom somewhere. It's all well and fine, but and then I don't remember. Here's your pattern selector, and you know, lines, hoses, all that neat jazz. Access inside. I believe it's got access underneath the floor rubber. Yeah, you can pull the pan. The whole pan comes out of it. The floor pan, so you can get to lines and whatnot. I think fits in there good. You got total kill. Well, I'll show you the cab in a minute. This is kind of nice. Got a toolbox. Who has a toolbox on their excavator? I got a little chain deal in there, but there's plenty of room in there. You could put your wrench for your what you call it up there, for your diverter valve, all that neat jazz. And then you got engine access, fuel filter, all the things where they say they PDI'd it. It's got a fair amount of room in here. I mean, most of them, the engine's like, you know, kind of up here. The engine's actually up in the machine a little more, which that's kind of nice. You know, you're getting more weight towards the front of the machine and whatnot. I didn't really look, you know, at super particulars and all that neat jazz, but everything seems kind of nice and laid out. It's got a couple body ground or engine grounds that go over to the body. Here's your regen, you know, like everybody else. It's got foam. I mean, it is a lot quieter. Well, they've got foam on the door, which I don't remember anybody else having foam on the door, to make it a little quieter. Your AC's up here, which I thought was kind of nice. And your windshield washer bottle, instead of being inside where you're spilling washer fluid all over, you could actually have, you know, your washer fluid outside. It looks like I probably need a funnel or something to get to it, but anyways, cooling fan for your AC, I assume. And this is for the US market. They had to put a little whatchamacallit on there, backup beeper, your fuel and everything else, your fuel fill and your hydraulic fill, your air filters up here. That's kind of nice. Let me see, I don't remember. I know the salesman did something. How do you unlatch that? Let's see. Can you see that? Oh, it's back here. That's a hinge up there. So it's back here. There it is. See, I remember you opened the side of it. This is kind of nice. You know, you pull your deal and you can flip it up and get to your battery access and whatnot. Open up the rest of the machine. Huh. I wonder what the heck that's for. It can't be a fire extinguisher, because that would be an awfully small fire extinguisher, but maybe that's what that is. I'll have to call my salesman and see what that's all about. But, and I don't know what that is. What is that? What would this be, boys and girls? Oh, you flip that down and that goes into there and it keeps your door from flapping over and hitting you. But they have, again, they have some resonation foam. Like I said, the machine's really quiet. It's not saying other machines aren't quiet, but this machine just seems like it's a little quieter than what I'm used to. But like I said, it's plastic lid, but it is blow molded. It seems very tough. I mean, I'd almost stand on it. I'm 200 pounds. Anyways, fuel fill. This is nice. Fuel gauge. So when you're filling up out here and you're not looking at the fuel gauge on the machine, you can actually see your fuel come up. So it's not spitting on you and spurting on you and everything else. That's kind of nice. The, you know, side windows slide open. If you look at some of the cheaper machines, I won't mention them, but they're new machines coming out of China. The side windows don't slide. They were really trying to sell me one hard just to get them out there, and I really didn't enjoy it. So typical tracks. I don't know what brand. They don't seem cheap by any stretch. They feel good. They, you know, it doesn't feel like it's super soft. I do like that. a mirror, so when you're sitting up in there you can see the back of your tracks, so you're not guessing, because you can't necessarily see them all the time. And it is a zero tail, because when you rotate around, as you can see, the machine's just round on the bottom. It is a zero tail. When you swing sideways on the side of this machine is sitting over the track, it is the same pronounced area as what that is. So like I said, angle blade, you know, hose coverings are really nice. It seems like I've got less going on up here. It's not as chaotic, it's more compact as what my Deere was. Not saying it's good or bad, but it just seems like I don't have as much going on. I think my Deere came out underneath and kind of came up and wrapped around everywhere. It seems nice and tight and tidy. It's got a lifting lug if you ever need to pick this big girl up. I don't know anybody with anything to pick it up, but maybe my buddy with a 963, I don't know if it'd do it. I guess it would. I don't want to, let's put it that way. Anyways, handles. It's got this handle here on the side of the cab. It's got a handle there, handle inside, right around. Let me do it. I'm standing on the track. You can reach right around and kind of grab that and pull it shut. My Deere, not that it was bad, but they had a handle. It kind of went like this, and you had to reach. It's nice because it holds it back on the body. Let's look in the cab. So it's a very nice, spacious cab. I have the seat way forward because I'm very short. I'm like 5'7", but I've got really short legs. I got little bitty tiny legs, so I can sit here and I can actually go backwards, boys and girls. Normally this is kind of hard to do in about anything. It's a nice big pedal. I do have really big feet for my size. I wear like 10.5 or 11s. But I've got plenty of room. Flip that down so you can move it, but I've got plenty of room there. It's not bad at all. And then that's your boom swing, obviously. Got a foot pedal, you know, just control. These little clips are kind of nice. Up in here, when you roll your door back, which I don't know if I can do with the camera, rolls back nice. It's got 2 gas shocks on it, 1 on each side. Holds it up really nice. It kind of latches really nice. Some of them don't. I'm throwing my sunglasses around. But you can actually take this glass out. You see how that's kind of loose? Well, instead of looking at your edge of the glass, if you need to pull that out, it snaps in right here, out of the way. So then you're like a big machine and you have nothing obstructing you whatsoever. Very nice. Plenty of heat vents. We've got fresh air vent. There's a cabin air filter right there. I'm not quite sure what this little thing is. I need to call, because if you see, it's got like a little handle. It looks like it's a screen or a filter in there. So maybe it's a debris filter or something for the AC. But you've got cigarette lighter down here, so you can plug in your electronics, you know, your GoPro. Not endorsing, but I'm filming with a GoPro. AC, of course, everybody needs a ashtray. I don't smoke, but apparently everybody needs an ashtray. This is your blade up and down. Tilt side to side for your angle blade, and then your speed control is underneath the handle. There's a trigger, and then, you know, typical on this side, this is your thumb, horn, and then your thumb quick back. I think it's also used for breaker, the trigger on the bottom of this. And then with the factory quick attach, it's super simple. With it running, you turn the power on, red light comes on, and then you go to dismount or mounting, whichever one you're wanting to do. There is a little safety pin deal that you have to open up on the end of the boom. I've been debating on taking that off so I don't have to mess with that, but it's probably there for a reason. I know another YouTuber, I don't know if I'm supposed to say his name, but Let's Dig 18. I quite enjoy his videos, He's got a 55 and he's got a 55, you know, this version. And then he's got an older one, and both of them, he never pulls a pin. I watch it multiple times, never pulls a pin. So obviously he pulled his off. I might pull mine off. Not copying, just what's the use in having a hydraulic pin grabber if you have to go out and pull a dang safety pin? Auto idle, the eco lights, windshield washer, and then your DPF if you need to regen, you know, on demand or whatever, you can hit that. And then, you know, obviously we've got side windows that open. There's our little spot mirror. I don't know if you can see maybe the tracks on the back. And then this is going to sound real stupid. I have a little shelf. Well, I kind of like it because I haven't put a radio in it yet, which I just got it. It only has 4 or 5 hours on it. But my wife bought me this little speaker puck thing, and it sits right there. And I can Bluetooth it with my phone. It's amazing. But my thought was, I could put stuff back here. I don't know what, but it sounds like a great thing. Anyways, a cup holder, and that's about it. But I did go this morning, and I got window tint with the coronavirus stuff going on. I had to call ahead, and I asked him if I could get window tint, and he said, we're only by appointment only. And I said, I just need it in a roll. I'm going to tint my windows on my excavator. He said, come by and get it, call me, and I'll set it at the door, and you can throw money in the door and take away your tint. So that's what I did. So I guess I'll tint the windows, and then I'll do another video on the window tint and see what you guys think of it. But hopefully that kind of showed you the ins and out of a Yanmar. We'll have future videos of it. I've got to find some better camera angle because my buddy demoed a 55. Machine was great. I tried to put the camera, here, we'll put the camera back on my shelf that I love. Well, see, the camera angle isn't great. I'm sure it's the same as in the 55 because it seems like the same cab. So we'll probably, I don't know, what camera angle. Here, we'll call this camera angle 1. Maybe camera angle 2. Camera angle 3. What else we got? That's horrible. Don't want to do that. That's horrible. Nope. Nope. Let's see. Maybe camera angle 4. Something. Go ahead and comment. Sorry, I had my finger in the screen. I was hanging out the window. Maybe comment in the comments and let me know. Maybe this is camera angle 5. That might not be horrible, but you guys tell me. Camera angle 1, camera angle 2, camera angle 3, camera angle 4 or 5. And a couple of those might have to change because we're going to have tinted windows, so maybe 5 is not an option. Anyways, hope you liked the video, and please comment and subscribe, and I will get a video of a walk around after we get the windows tinted. Thanks. Okay, well, here we go. It's not my best work because I had to do it outside. The inside of my shop is extremely dirty all the time because all we own is stuff on tracks. And I live on a gravel road. But in that back window, I thought it was just curved one way, and it's not. I tried to shrink it. It didn't want to cooperate. It's about 78 degrees, 77 degrees, something, 70 degrees today. Sunny as all hell. So I was fighting that, but we've got 20% on that back window, 35 on the front, only because I screwed up the piece of 20%. It got flopped around the wind, stuck to itself. 35 on the back, 20 on the sides, and 35 on the windshield, and I left the bottom glass not tinted. I may tint it 20, but I'm going to kind of see what I end up with, what I like, what I don't like. I would have taken the machine somewhere and had somebody tint it that does it for a living, that has a nice clean area to do it in, not a shop working off a piece of OSB that has, you know, like a glass wall or whatever. That's normally what they have, so they can throw the tint up, pull the cellophane off or the protective layer, and It doesn't fight you, but I was pulling it off in the cab with the wind blowing and whatnot, so I don't think it's horrible for what I was dealing with, and it's 100% functional and it doesn't look bad from outside. So there you go, tinted windows on the new Yanmar.